Yeah, we'll just get started in a few minutes, everybody. Just relax. Enjoy. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Guys, we're going to get started, okay? Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead and call tonight's meeting to order. This is the open session for the Fullerton School District's board meeting on Tuesday, November 14th, 2023, and we are called to order at 6:02 p.m. Is Macy Brzezinski here, a fourth grader from Raymond? Would you kindly lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? They're going to hand you a microphone from right back there. And everyone, if we can go ahead and do the pledge.
Put your right hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Thank you so much, Macy. Go Raymond. We're going to do things a little bit out of order. Is there any objection from the board if we have Daisy Perez from the city of Fullerton, if she's here? Go ahead and, oh, she's still here. Okay.
Is she?
Okay. In that case, is there any objection from the board if we begin with our presentation from the Seroptimus Club of Fullerton?
Go right ahead.
All right, wonderful. Is anybody here from our local? Thank you. Would you like to come to the podium, please? Okay. Yes. If anybody here tonight would like to make a public comment on any agenda item, the forms to fill out are at the back of the room by the yellow sign. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Amanda Blake Sokola, and I am the current president of the Seroptimus International of Fullerton. Thank you for inviting us to speak this evening. And with me I have Julissa Castillo as one of our members, Holly Chang as one of our members, over there in the pink shirts, Susan Brock Lang and Davy Sok Win. And since our founding in 1956, Seroptimus International of Fullerton has stayed true to our mission. We support leadership, economic empowerment, and academic excellence for women and girls. Our support for the enrichment of girls in Fullerton has included Maple and Raymond Elementary, as well as Ladera Vista, and now added Nicholas Junior High. The funding has been in place for over 18 years, and we are proud of the partnerships and the value it has had for the students here in Fullerton. Yet what makes these programs sing are the individuals who implement and organize the activities. And I want to acknowledge Davy Sok-Wen, Hannah Lim, Whitney Keene, and Judith Belieber, who have been instrumental in creating lasting memories for their students. The new school programming at Nicholas Junior High will be administered by Dominique Estrada, as she is here with us this evening as well, and we are looking forward to the activities she will implement. Fullerton School District has amazing teachers, staff, and administrators who recognize the importance of community involvement, offering added value for the students they serve. Seroptimus is proud to be a part of it. Additionally, we would enjoy partnering with one of the high schools in Fullerton. It could be funding for GED tests for students in continuation settings, workshops for career development, or educational option assistant, with Seroptimus paying for submission fees on university applications. There are so many creative ways we could work together. And if you are aware of somebody that would be willing to manage the programming at the high school, please reach out to one of our members. Seroptimus service projects continue across all age groups. We also provide funding for women pursuing educational advances through college or technical schools. We find ways to support women who have suffered from domestic violence and girls who have been exposed to sex trafficking. Collaboration is a great tool to share in the joy and service that Seroptimus does in the world, and our mission is clear. We appreciate all of you here tonight and the support provided for these unique programs. Nicholas Junior High has already received their funding, and tonight we will present checks for Maple and Raymond Elementary. If there's a representative, I believe Christina is here from one of the schools, and is there's someone else from the other, Christina? Yes. If you would come and accept.
Would you like to, thank you so much, by the way. We're really so grateful. And would you like to maybe come to the front and we can take some photos? Oh, look, like a normal sized check. That's so refreshing.
You can really deposit it.
And someone here from
Principal
Maple,
Abney?
who is representing. Hi, lady.
We can maybe have the teachers that are the leaders join us up front.
Yes, that would be great. Yes, please, everybody related to the program, please join us up front for a photo.
Dominique.
Sure, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. You want to take that over to Dominique? Yeah. And we'll also award Dominique Estrada for her participation in the upcoming year. Thank you all.
While we're waiting for the City of Fullerton, we will go ahead and start with our reports this evening. Dr. Pletka?
Before we do that, already.
We have some pastries for the kids and teachers.
Oh my gosh, yes, of course. Did everybody hear that from our most recent presentation? All of the students should have a pastry?
Yes, please.
Please. We end up eating them.
Dessert before dinner.
Yes, please, please take the pastries, please.
Take extra. That's something that we need to put in our doors.
Yeah, these are cool.
But if it was remote controlled, that would be
It'd
a
be
lot
better.
cooler. Oh, okay. Daisy's here. If Ms. Perez is here from the city of Fullerton and the team want to maybe start getting ready for the presentation, that would be great. Hi, Ms. Perez. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Hello. Are you ready for me?
Yes, we are ready.
Okay. All right. I don't have a PowerPoint, so I'm just going to read a little speech. Okay. Good evening. My name is Daisy Perez. I am the Deputy City Manager with the City of Fullerton. I stand before you today with great enthusiasm and a shared vision for the future of education in our community. Today, I present to you a proposal that signifies not only an investment in our children's education, but a commitment to preserving our rich cultural heritage. This proposal is a result of collaborative efforts between the City of Fullerton and the Fullerton Elementary School District, and it centers around the historic Hunt Library. The Hunt Library, a local landmark with a storied history, has been at the heart of our community since it was gifted to the City of Fullerton by the Norton Simon Foundation in 1962. In recent years, the closure of the library due to financial constraints prompted community members appointed by the City Council to explore its potential uses. After careful deliberation, the Council unanimously approved a 2-year bridge program to revitalize the Hunt Library, bringing new life into the historic gem. Over the last year, we've been working on renovating this historic structure, and we're proud to announce that construction of the building has been completed. The proposal we present today outlines a comprehensive educational partnership that aims to leverage the Hunt Library as a dynamic learning and cultural hub. The Bridge program encompasses daily operations as a city-run facility with arts and cultural programming alongside a full-service library. This initiative is not just about filling the shelves with books. It's about opening doors to a world of possibilities for our students. I'm going to outline a few key points to our proposal. The first is after-school programs for all ages. We envision after-school programs that cater to students aged 4 to 12, focusing on arts and music. These programs will not only complement the district's existing offerings, but will provide a creative and educational space for children to explore their passions. 2, cultural events and community engagement. The Hunt Library will become a vibrant hub for cultural events, including reading nights, author meet and greets, and quarterly family programs. This aligns with the district's commitment to holistic development and community engagement. 3, private event venue availability. Reorganizing the historical and architectural significance of the Hunt Library, we propose to make the space available for private events. Not only will this generate revenue to sustain the programs, but will allow the community to celebrate special occasions in a unique and historic setting. This partnership represents a unique opportunity to transform the Hunt Library into a vibrant and inclusive space for education and community engagement. By offering programs for students aged 4 to 12, we aim to foster a love for learning, creativity, and cultural appreciation. I invite each of you to consider the potential impact of this proposal on our community. The City Council has expressed unwavering support, and together we have the chance to create a lasting legacy for generations to come. I want to express my gratitude for your time and consideration, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have and to further discuss how this partnership aligns with the educational goals of the Fullerton Elementary School District. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you wouldn't mind, we might have some questions from the dais, but Dr. Pleka, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, just a little bit of background. We've been really working with the city with the possibility of partnering for almost 10 years. And so it's great to see that there's been really great support in our community for the Hunt Library and trying to bring back the library and library services to our community. for sure, as we look, we're looking to support and we appreciate a public library so that our kids and our families can access this. So just to say, first of all, thank you and the whole city and all the people behind it that are working to bring this resource back to our community. So first to say thank you for that. In particular, it's been nice. Daisy has been so proactive, and we appreciate all the work. I mean, not only did she meet with me, but she met with Jackie from the community center. She met with Jeremy in terms of potential reading services. She met with Jason for our after-school program. And so just to say that she took a lot of time to listen and to hear about potential services. I think at this point, you know, there's really been an openness by the city about how we might be able to use it, and to say nothing's been decided about all of the possible uses for it. And so I think as you hear some of these things, know that it's still, we're still in kind of a conversation mode about the potential services that we could offer. And so we're not looking for an action today. We really are looking for the sort of discussion to see some of your interests as we, you know, move forward, and potentially at a future meeting you would vote potentially whether you want to move forward with it or not. But today is to get your feedback, your input, your ideas, and your suggestions. And like I said, Daisy's been so open and someone who's really taken a lot of initiative to work with us. So again, just thank you, Daisy, for all your work and initiative to make today a reality. So thanks.
Thank you.
Any questions from the dais at this time regarding this
Yes.
proposal and discussion?
Are we having our discussion now? Because it was later in the agenda, so are we going to do that now?
Only because I think Ms.
Yeah.
Perez is here now to...
Okay.
Yes, Trustee Sugarman, please.
First of all, thank you. That's a beautiful space. It's adjacent to one of our schools. It's right near here. We love it. And moving forward to do great things there is a joy for the community, especially this local community. So I just want to start with that. I see on the program here all the different ideas you have of how we could use it. And I want to highlight the overnight programming. I did that in Atlanta with a grandchild, and to tell you it was fabulous is, you know, it's just a wonderful experience. And I'm excited at the thought that our community and parents and children can have such an experience. So, clever idea. Thank you. And I see here that the total cost if every part of our dream could come true is $50,000. And the way I read this, that $50,000 would be coming from the city. Is that correct?
No. So what's being proposed is that the district would basically be paying for services for the year for basically $50,000. That would be broken up into two parts. The after-school programming, so think of two big buckets. Buckets that they staff, they facilitate, and so that would be something like after-school programming, and then there would be space or usage of that space. So those are the two big buckets. And so to be able to utilize not only the building itself, but the services after school, that would be $50,000. The $20,000 for after school is specific funding that we receive for these types of services, and something that Jason at some point is here also to share if the board has an interest after having any conversations or questions with Daisy.
So I should also be thanking you, Dr. Pletka, for these very clever and wonderful ideas and inclusiveness of our entire community. It's very impressive. And I didn't realize that we were paying money toward it. Bummer. But it sounds like well worth the dollars. That's a great program, a great program. I was wondering how the city would commit to that for many years in the future.
Daisy, $50,000, we'd love that.
A year. Now, what we're looking at are things like a contract, and then it would be for a number of years, this would be the amount without change.
When the contract begins, so part of it, they have to finish the work that needs to be done. So that's not ready to begin right now. My understanding that potentially could be in April. Probably from a realistic standpoint, we're talking about next school year. However, we can bring the contract back sooner than that. So this is really looking at for next year. Again, that's why we wanted to make sure you're early on, you're part of that discussion, giving feedback. And then we would do a one-year contract with $50,000. Of course, the board, you can extend it. It can be more than that. But that would be the initial idea, is to bring and do a year-to-year contract. And what is being proposed is potentially $50,000 for next year.
Okay, thank you. It was that last line. The parenting class will be provided by the city of Fullerton at no cost, so I just extrapolated. We paid nothing. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the board?
You want me to go? Okay, yeah. First of all, I was asking the same questions, kind of like what are the values and what are we getting for this contribution to the budget that we're contributing? And I did a lot of research. I talked to some former Hunt librarians. I talked to some folks that have been on the ad hoc committee over the years to bring back the Hunt Library, trying to understand, because I know this is a rich history in our community, and there's lots of opinions and lots of visions of what this space might look like and how it can serve our community. And I think fundamentally, I value libraries, and I think that there's a service that it offers to our community, especially this end of town, that is needed. It's 6 miles between the main branch and the Hunt branch, right? And that's far if you don't have transportation. That's far if you're pushing a stroller. That's a far walk for a child. So I think providing a contribution to our neighbors and being a good neighbor and seeing the benefits that it brings to FSD students and families is a big value I see here. And I'm concerned that there is an effort in our larger community to defund public goods, and so I think it's important that we value these shared public goods. When you can't afford to buy a book on Amazon or buy a Starbucks to hang out and do your homework for a couple hours, libraries are an important community value and an important space for us, right? But I'm also thinking about, how do we utilize this space in a way that is unique, that we don't already have. FSD has property. FSD has after-school programming. So what does Hunt bring that's unique and different that we can contribute and a win-win, support the community resource as well as benefit as a district. And so I've been thinking about, I love the choices of the menus of items, but I also want to make sure that I'd love for us to kind of hone in on things that we don't already have, and we can either redirect our funding to provide the services to the Hunt, or that's a new benefit to our students. So for instance, I think the conference week, after school programming, that's one of the options, is after school programming during conference week. Kids get out at noon, parents scramble to figure out who's gonna pick up and take their kids and where are they gonna go, is grandma gonna get them? This is a great opportunity for a new resource for our community. I think after school tutoring, homework help, early childhood literacy, preschool hours are awesome. I also would love to redirect funds. If we're already spending money on a hotel for an all-day professional development or conference, let's give the money to the Hunt, underwrite that budget, and instead have a valuable resource for our entire community. So I would like to see us really focus in on those kind of win-win opportunities where we're either already spending money and it can be redirected to the Hunt, or it provides a new resource and a new opportunity for our families that are really about student success, that are correlated with how do we support our kids and our families. And libraries are a really important piece of that. So I have some questions. I can maybe pause if other folks want to add to the discussion, but I have some specific questions I want to ask too. Keep going? Okay, so Daisy, if you could, or Ms. Perez, if you could share with us more about the total operating budget that you're hoping to raise? I know you're asking FSD to contribute about $50,000 for an annual contract. What does that look like big picture? How many partners are you hoping to have, to secure? Like, what piece of the pie is our $50,000 to the operating budget?
Great question. So, in general, I believe the Hunt 2-year bridge program, the total price tag on that all in is around $1 million. A lot of that is our staffing with librarians, just program staff, other staff that we have. Security is about $250,000 a year. Utilities are very expensive. So one of the unique things with our proposal is we're really looking at a partnership. This isn't just something that the city has a building, we'd like the school district to take over and we want you to fork the bill. It's definitely not like that. But as we were working on programming the space for the community, we felt that not only is this in our backyard, this building is literally in your backyard, and we really wanted to work with the school district first to really give you guys first priority on what your needs are so that we can then program that and work with other partners to then fill in the gap.
Okay.
So that's definitely something that we've done, and I will say that the proposal that's being presented this evening did not just come out of thin air from my mind or anyone else's. This really is a collective effort and a reflection of, you know, your key staff and then working with our staff to figure out what can we do together and what are those needs that the school district needs to meet that you don't maybe have the space for, or something else that we can do in partnership. So we really wanted to take your feedback from your team to develop this proposal, which is what we did.
So what you're saying is $50,000 is quite small compared to the total operating budget. If it's at least $500,000 a year,
That's correct. And so we did use our general or our standard fee schedule when we started creating this, and then we scaled back. Like, we absorbed all the security costs, we absorbed all these other costs that we would typically pass on to a different person. If we just had a private like renter come in and say, I'd like the space for 10 hours, it would be a higher rate than what is being proposed to the district.
And what percentage is the city contributing?
We are paying for all of the staffing for this. I wouldn't know directly. I'd have to go back and check exactly what we would be covering. But I can tell you it's definitely been an expensive project. Just to renovate the building, it's over $6 million.
And a lot of that I know has been secured through grants and funding that special one-time kind of budget. But do you know, is there a expectation there will be a children's librarian on staff with regular hours at this location?
There is. So a portion, even though it's called the Hunt Library, a portion of this building would be a dedicated library space, and the rest would be a multi-purpose space. But in the library space, we would have a senior librarian to staff that, as well as library technician and other library support. So they would be there several days a week where the library would be open, and then the other time we would have other professionals come in, or we may contract with special instructors to provide unique programming opportunities.
Okay, so not necessarily then a children's or YA or youth librarian, but one that would kind of cover all services and genres.
Correct.
Okay. And they would also do programming?
Yes, they would.
Okay. Is there an expectation that there would be a small collection of books for children and youth? There will be books. Good. Glad to hear that. Okay.
Just to jump in, please, I do want you to continue, Trustee Hinchett, but could we visit the library? Is the space ready for visitors?
I would love to give you a tour.
Okay.
Do you know how many people can fit in the meeting space if you were to have an all-day event like that is listed as a suggested item?
So there's 2 general areas. One is a large classroom boardroom. I believe the capacity on that is about 50 people. And then there's a large multi-purpose space, which is the center of the building, and the capacity on that is about 250.
How many folks do we have when we have our PAL meetings annually?
Chad, 200? We do right about 200, yes.
Okay. So we could pay the Hunt instead of a hotel.
We get 2 big events.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of, yeah, what I love about this idea is if rather than paying a corporation, we can support our community in that way.
This is called a bridge program. I'm sorry again.
Yeah.
A bridge program. What's envisioned after
Great.
this 1 year or 2 year bridge?
So when the ad hoc committee met, they were looking at different options. One was just a full-on city-run program for eternity. Another would be that we would find an outside partner that would take over the space. When they went through the RFP process, that's when I had started with the city, and then I took a different approach to look at this on how we can find ways that the city could actually operate this. And council was actually open to seeing that for 2 years. Like, let's see how it goes. Let's see who comes. Let's see how much revenue we can raise from having private events there, having other multi-uses. So council wants to evaluate this after like a year of operation to determine if they'd like to continue down this path or seek a private party to run the operations of the facility.
And so the city has a department and funding for the main library branch. The hunt would kind of fall back under that, maybe as it was in the past, or does it go into Parks and Rec?
So this project is special. Technically, if you look at our budget, the Hunt Library budget you would find under the library department budget. However, we are working directly, Parks and Recreation is working directly with the library to program the space. So the library department is working on the library programming, and then Parks and Rec, because we operate the community center, this is almost like a satellite community center that we'd also operate. And then that way we're able to offer a latitude of programs. And while the dedicated library space is relatively small, while the other programs are not there, really this entire facility would become a library, or it would become a wedding, or it would become whatever it is that we would imagine it to be that night. We can have a concert out on the portico. We can do all sorts of things. So it's really a great multi-use space that we're really excited to bring to life.
Are you envisioning that the stacks in the library will be movable?
Yes, they will have movable furniture throughout the building. Both bookshelves in the library as well as other movable furniture.
Thank you.
Any other questions from this side of the dais?
Well, if you wait long enough, then everybody else asks all your questions. So, thank you, Daisy. I think that your foresight and you being able to come in and kind of tweak this and get it to the point where we could keep it for a little bit longer and really try something is to be commended. So thank you very much for doing that. I appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else does as well. I agree. I think that having a library there is very important. The space is good for our families and our children. Just a couple follow-up questions on the actual programming itself when you talked about working with Parks and Rec. So if you were to look at the conference week and the after-school programming, the staff that is there teaching or providing that service, are they Parks and Rec staff or are they school district staff?
They are Parks and Rec staff.
Okay.
I have staff here, so I just want to confirm.
Yeah, they're nodding.
All right, so they're Parks and Rec.
But I mean, for the times that we're there, it would be our staff leading the programs, right?
So it actually depends, I believe, and I can have staff come up here to clarify, but for some of these, we really would be doing the programming. We'd be providing different types of art programs, family programs. I believe for the large events, that's the area where the school district would be really taking over the space and programming it.
Right, so if we want to do a reading night or if we want to do something extra that's in addition to whatever you have listed here, then our staff would come in and they would be the ones that would facilitate that.
Correct. But the reading nights the reading events that are listed here, that our library would work on bringing a local author or hosting whatever it is that they're doing, that's our staff.
Right. So everything that's in the summary or the listed here in our $50,000 package is Parks and Rec.
Correct, except for, or it would be city programs, except for the, like I said, the two large events.
Right.
That's really just the dedicated space.
Got it. And there would be a scale for, so we would, if we do this, then you come up with a calendar and you would say, okay, this is dedicated to the school district. These are the dates and the times that the school district has this building. Anything outside of that is then open to other partners or other collaborators.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
And if we wanted to add to that, we would just have to work it out, both a date and a price?
Yes.
Additional price? Okay. Would students at Pack Drive and others be able to access the library during the day like they have in the past?
Yeah, so there would be general operating hours for the library where anyone from the public would be able to attend.
Okay.
I had a question. I know I'm kind of waiting a little bit, also waiting to get some of the questions answered that I already had, which I already knocked out 3 of them, which is good, right? So question for me is, with the contract, would there be an ongoing assessment of kind of the needs of what the community is? So like what's working, what's not working, if something comes up and something's being asked, you know, more programming as far as, let's say, music, or whatever it may be, would we be doing kind of some ongoing assessment
Yeah,
that
so
we can
that's
fit into the
definitely
contract?
something that we would do just in general. And then, as Dr. Pletka mentioned, you know, we're really open right now, and this is a general kind of blueprint for us. But one of the things that we definitely put first and foremost is community input and community needs. And so we're definitely work with the district to do different surveys to parents and figure out exactly what it is that you're looking for, that your parents are looking for, that your kids are looking for, to develop the specific types of programs and activities that we would host.
Perfect. I think this question is probably more for Jason as well too. So Jason, does this expand a little bit of what the after-school program needs are in some of our local schools here, like Pack Drive, probably, you know, Valencia Park, Richmond, as far as the Encore program?
Yeah, it definitely will give more opportunity for just enrichment beyond the school walls, because I think that's something that our kids like to see and do. So it wouldn't just be the local or schools, but we can bus also school kids from our programs across all our schools. And in collaboration with the staff of the city and what we've been working with, I think they're open to other ideas that we can bring programming. But just to start, it was these 2 avenues, and I think it's a kind of going to be ongoing partnership that will continue to have dialogue and to see what we can bring in. But it's exciting. The staff has been great as we met, but it would be enriching and expanding the opportunities, especially like the conference week is a good example, and offering ability for a different diverse type of programming, even if it might be STEM again, but it's a type that might fit more locally or to that school's goal, because every school has different focuses. So this would just offer that opportunity and diversity through those things. But yeah, it would be expanding and providing for multiple schools. Again, we would provide the transportation for others to be able to come and see as well. It wouldn't just be Pack Drive on the 3 local schools. It would be any other school in the area that can come.
Yeah. That was, oh, go ahead, you go.
Did it go off? Do we still have a wait list for students to enroll into Encore? Because I know some schools last year had a wait list. Do we still have is the need still there for after school like Encore?
List. And there are some students still. We've really enhanced our numbers from previous years. We are continually looking at opportunities to bring more. But yeah, we definitely, I think, grew at least by 50% from our previous years. But there's always a big need of questions about staffing and a bunch of other things we're working on. But yeah, definitely grew, and more students are going to be able to experience.
So this would help support that?
It would offer more opportunities for enrichment and experiences.
So I was curious about transportation too, because yeah, getting kids from the multiple sites to, even if it's conference week or after school programming, is the after school budget able to be spent on transportation, or will we have to find another way of funding that?
No, definitely it's part of our programming. ELOP, it requires you to be able to provide students access by transportation if we're going to offer these experiences. So if we're partnering, in which we are having, we would definitely be able to provide the transportation because it's linked with the budget.
Okay, that's great. And that's funding that is not part of our general fund. but a separate budget that is from the state to increase or deal with learning loss from the COVID specifically, right?
It's the after-school program. It's 2 years now, I think, Jason, where we received some additional funding for after school. It used to be just ACES, and then there was additional funding for an expanded after school. So that's kind of what we're talking about, funds from that.
Yes.
Arts grant is different type
Yeah,
of funding.
this is different than the arts grant. This is specifically the after school. The
We
after
can
school.
do art, but it's not a
Right.
different funding
It's
stream.
expanded learning opportunities program grant. It's from the state. And it's offering expanding the learning day. So that is kind of comprehensive to our school on top of ACES and the after school, but it's mainly an after school grant.
Okay. Ms. Perez, I'd love to see a focus on early childhood education be included in this. I didn't see that popping out from the opportunities that were listed, but I know as a young parent, the toddler preschool hours and story times were really valuable, and I think especially as we're looking at preparing our kids to be successful and well prepared for kindergarten, they're really critical for our community. Is that something we could build into our list of options?
So that is, but that is also something that we were just looking to provide at the space in general. So I don't think that's actually something that you would have
We don't
to
pay for? Yeah.
The city would include that as our programming.
I'm glad to hear it will be there. That's great. And then, yeah, I know that the after-school programming specifically is the 2 hours a day on 4 days a month. It says like once a week. Would there be staffing after school every day or 5 days a week that could provide a space to do homework, maybe help with homework? Is that an option?
Staff looks like they're taking notes. I think we can,
If you want to add it to your $50,000, I'm sure.
yeah. So
I mean, I would trade, maybe an overnight for more homework help.
May I
Homework help, overnight scares me with child protection issues. I don't know.
follow up? Ms. Perez, outside of the programs and activities that you're proposing that the district, pay for to support the library reopening, there will be, are we expecting to return to sort of full-time library hours the way that it was? You may not recall, but as the city's funding was decreasing, it went from a full-service space or library in the western part of Fullerton to just every Friday it was closed, then it was only open, once a week once a month, or 1 week out of the month, pardon me, and then the hours just kept getting less and less and less. Will it be open to the community again outside of these programs?
So right now, the goal is to provide services at the Hunt 7 days a week. What that means could vary, because some of that could be library services, it could be programs that we're offering, it could be that there's a special event one day, it could be that there's something else that's going on. We'd like to just activate that space with positive activity as much as possible. So on top of the programs that we're looking to offer with the district, we're also committing, our staff time to provide dedicated programs, as well as contracting out with other professionals. We have a set budget of $125,000 a year that we are committing specifically to programming, and then on top of that, the Library Foundation has committed funds for library programs. So I don't know exactly what that amount looks like right now, but there is definitely an investment being provided by the city to provide additional services at this location.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, so to piggyback on that, will it be summer activities, I'm hoping?
Is that summer?
Summer specifically?
Well, we're actually looking at some.
I know that's probably a question more for your staff, but
Well, one of
I'm
the
just interested.
ideas, I'm just going to throw it out here, that we were talking about was like an alternative, like summer camp type program that we can offer here, or winter camp, or whenever kids are out of school, that we would offer an alternative to just being at home with positive activities at the space.
You guys used to do that, right?
That used to be done.
We still have some of that,
Yeah.
but this potentially could be a more affordable option on site.
And do you have other creative things that you're doing outside of what you're offering to us? I mean, it sounds like early childhood. Do you have any like ESL classes or any, language classes of any kind or anything
I have
else?
our programming professionals sitting here. I don't know if you want to have one. I can come up and share some more.
As you can tell, we're pretty interested in this topic right now.
Hello everyone, my name is Miriam. I'm one of the Parks and Rec supervisors. So I've been working with Daisy and the school district staff to come up with some of these programs. But besides the school programming, we've been looking into working with NOCE, which is willing to provide a lot of ESL classes, parenting classes, some tech classes for parents and just families in general. So that's a route that we're exploring, and I've been working with them already. So once we have a set date when we're able to start, then they'll come in and we'll be able to start those programs.
That's awesome. We can have yoga on the lawn.
Yes, we are also exploring those ideas because we have such a great front lawn available. So we're looking at doing like summer concerts out there, or having a movie night, or just those kind of classes or programs that aren't easily accessible right at a normal center, or this is right in a neighborhood so people could just walk over. So we really want to expand some of the programs we're already doing and bring them over here, having sports sessions here, just those kinds of things and programs. Yes, fitness programs. Yes, senior programming, we have a lot at the community center. Same thing, it's not easily accessible for everyone, so bringing some of those programs here will definitely help. Our coordinator that oversees the senior programs at our community center will be the main person also at the Hunt. So she already has relationships with a lot of these organizations that provide free services, so definitely looking into bringing them into the Hunt. And fitness classes, again, the front yard lawn is a great space to have Zumba, yoga, soccer, just those things.
Very cool.
Any other programming questions?
Yeah, any other questions or comments from the board? We're not taking any action tonight, but if no other questions, thank you so much for being here, and we're very grateful. We look forward to the next update. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, great. We sort of agreed to switch up our agenda this evening. Why don't we go ahead and go to the reports, please? Superintendent's report, please.
Sure. Just in this month of Thanksgiving, just to start to say how thankful I am. We had an incredible event, our Champions for Learning conference, and that really was a whole team effort. I mean, everybody, our IIS team and all the tech and support that they provided, Rob and his whole team that came in, the maintenance staff, Scott and JD and just everybody did such a great job. A big thank you to Dana's team, the supporting for kind of our LCAP. We continue kind of having our block parties where we gather input, and so her staff was also a big part of that. Of course, Chad and all the good work that his staff did to organize the conference and bring people together. And a special thank you to Rosanna, who really led the efforts and the work to pull this together and pull the community resources. So just a thanks again to all the departments that did that. A big also thank you to all our principals that were there and were a part of it and showed up on Saturday. I think that was for many principals, at least 3, 4, 5 Saturdays out of 6. And so a big thank you to all of our principals. It was nice to have our teachers represented and was there, and Darlene was there, and lots of other teachers were there. So thanks to that whole crew, and then to our classified staff. So just to say, I am very grateful, and it is events like this that bring us together. We have a wonderful community, so many great partners. They were there. In fact, people kept saying, how community partners like, I want to be part of this, and I want to do this, and I want to be here. And so we just invite everybody that wants to be part of it again. We'll do it again next year. I don't think I have a number. I think I heard 1,200. Chad, do we have a number yet? 1,300. So we had some great support from all our parents, and so it was good to see. And so just to say how thankful I am to everybody, to our whole staff, and to everybody that made it a success. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Trustee Berryman, do you want to begin on this side?
Oh, sure. I'm going to just piggyback on that because I think that was a wonderful event. I think that having it in the fall made a difference. Starting out our year, and I appreciate everyone that was there. I was very impressed by the the topics of the sessions that were introduced and that were offered. It had something for everyone. I think that it had spots and spaces for families to come together and to learn things. The cooking classes themselves were awesome, I think. And then it had information and sessions for parents that wanted to learn something different or get information on topics that they were looking for. So I do agree, and thank you to all of our community partners that were there. Being able to offer medical services and walk our parents through some of the resources that are out there was very impressive as well. So thank you for that. I think that's it. I think that might be it for me tonight.
Thank you. Trustee Talavera?
I'll continue piggybacking on that event because I also attended, and it was tons of people there, and it was really amazing to walking in and seeing all the community partners on one side, and having our families and our parents really interacting with them, really being engaged, but and then also at the LCAP table as well too, providing their feedback on what they would like to kind of see our school district continue doing, or being innovative and doing something new. I also walked into some of the sessions, had parents dancing with their kids in some of them, doing the art. So to me, that was the biggest eye-opening. Again, providing those opportunities where our families can interact with their kids, and they can slow life down a little bit and then take that home. So for us to create that opportunity, I think it's a whirlwind. So I also attended Golden Hills Reflection Celebration. It was amazing to see the different art that those students are creating out there. To me, that's kind of one of the things that still sticks near and dear to me. My oldest son went to Golden Hill, was really inspired by just all the different ways that he can express himself. He's currently sewing and making like hoods and like actual clothing from like all this. So he started drawing and doing the drawings, and I saw that in the students. But again, my kid now has a sewing machine in his room, so he's being artistic. So I test that to our district here. Yeah, and I'll go from there.
Thank you very much. Trustee Hanchett?
Sure. Well, I first want to invite all of our board and cabinet and staff and community and especially PTA members, to stop by Raymond Elementary in the next 2 days if you can, because in the parent room, which is next to the office, are all of the PTA Reflections art competition winners from all of FSD. So Raymond is hosting, but all the winners from all the schools in the various categories are there. And if you want to stop by, you can even vote on your favorites, and those will then go up to the council at the Orange County level and then on to state in their categories. The theme is I am hopeful because, which I'm sure you saw at Golden Hill, but it's categories like musical composition, dance, film, photography, visual arts. So if you can, stop by Raymond in the next 2 days during school hours and take a look. I've also been able to visit a bunch of schools this last month. I got to tour Valencia Park and learned to just love the school community there with Dr. Munoz. I got to visit the community center at Nicholas and check in on our staff that are serving the community there, and super impressive the way that they're reaching out and building partnerships throughout our Fullerton community and the schools. And then I got to visit Ladera Vista Junior High, but specifically looking at the special education programs that they offer and looking at the different approaches from special day class to push-in and co-teach options to really better understand how we're serving all the needs of all of our kids. And I did miss champions because I was at the speech and debate tournament for the elementary schools. It was at Santiago Canyon, and I got to cheer on our amazing FSD kids, which cleaned house, and they are amazing. But the courage that these kids have to get up and do their thing is really impressive. And I also got to attend the Orange County Teacher of the Year celebration, which was awesome. It was such an encouraging night to celebrate teachers around the county that have been nominated, and Fullerton had 2 finalists, as I'm sure you know. Francisco Sandoval is a 6th grade teacher at Orange Thorpe, and then we also had Angela Kim, the dance teacher at Nicholas, were both recognized that night. It was inspiring. We were so proud of our FSD teachers, but there was a quote from one of the teachers. They have a chance to share kind of a personal statement on stage, and one teacher, her name was Andrea Mahindrakar, she shared in her speech that night, "No profession is more noble than the one that enables all other professions." And I thought that captured it well for the night. So it's been a busy couple weeks, but one thing I wanted to share with you all is I had a chance actually to meet with our Deputy City Manager, Daisy Perez, on a totally different topic, which that's how life is, right? You don't know someone and then you run into them multiple times for various reasons. But I met with her last week because I wanted to learn more about inclusive playgrounds, and really also we talked about safe routes to school. So I really haven't forgotten the plea of our kids a few months ago at a board meeting, and then I've been having conversations when they shared with us how they oftentimes felt unsafe walking home from especially our after-school programs. And now that it's dark, with the time change, thinking about our kids in the Gilbert area with OC United Teens, Orange Thorpe, VP, Nicholas areas where our kids have told us that they don't always feel safe walking home. So I've talked with OC United, I've talked with Dr. Bob, we've kind of been brainstorming how do we solve some of these challenges. But I had I met with Daisy Perez, who was here, and we talked about pursuing possibly even some federal grants and some state grant funding that supports safe routes to schools, and looking at things like lighting, crossing guards, traffic flow, more, addressing some problematic pedestrian bridges where kids don't feel safe, but really looking at what that partnership might be with the city in order to solve some of these challenges. But the main reason I had met with her is I was also interested in learning more about inclusive playgrounds and universal designs. So looking at spaces and how we can design them so that all children can really explore, use their bodies, enjoy the space, use their imagination, and access our playgrounds especially. I've been thinking about as we replace playgrounds, as we think about possibly funding from a bond and moving forward with that, I want us to be thoughtful about how we design for everybody so that all of the kids get to access and really be a part of the spaces that we design. So it was a beginning conversation. I think that that's something the city wants to grow in as well as ourselves. I've been putting some feelers out with other folks, but that's something that I appreciated. Ms. Perez said she would follow up with her Parks and Rec connections around the county and pursuing, whether it's ideas that others have tried, grant opportunities, or funding that might be available, or companies that do that work. Yeah.
Thank you. Trustee Sugarman?
Thank you. Well, I have a lot to share tonight, and most of it has to do with information from the Fullerton Education Foundation. For our principals, I want you to know that our Innovation Seed grants are out there, and we'll be giving out money before the year is over. So please let your staff know that there's money available for them if they want to apply for a seed grant. And online, there's even a how-to video on how to fill out the form and everything like that. So we're excited about that. The grants close on December the 8th, so between now and December the 8th. The second thing I wanted to talk about was that people may want to put on their calendar that the 17th and 18th is FSD Fest, and you might think about preparing for FSD Fest.
Which month?
May 16th through 18th, and it takes a long time to prepare for that event between esports and passion projects and school displays. Okay? And then last but not least, I have a plethora of people in this district to thank for the success of the Fullerton Education Foundation Gala last month. And I cannot thank the tech department under Jeremy enough for all the support of your staff and the kindness they showed to make the event successful. I also want to thank those in the district who helped us with the decor and came up with ideas. Thank you. That was so appreciated. And working together, we make things turn out better. This was an entirely different event than we've done in the past. In the past, we've had 400 to 450 guests. This year, we had a maximum of 200 at the event because that's what they could hold, so we sold out. I want to thank every single staff member who came, the support of our principals, the support of our superintendents. I mean, school districts just don't see that. The support of our school board. It's just wonderful. The support of our community and our vendors and everybody else. You guys rock. So, some of you may be thinking, what's the bottom line? Part of the bottom line is that once again, Shelley won a prize from pulling at random. Every year, Shelley wins pulling at random, and she has not lost her touch. Congratulations, Shelley. Oh, some of you may want to know how much money we made. Well, we think we made a little over $81,000. And so that money goes to our teachers as soon as they give us their grants. Thank you all again so much, and we are thrilled to be able to once again put that event back on. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I share one more?
Please. Please.
I totally forgot to also mention, I attended, Mike McAdams hosted the workshop for local businesses this past month, and he had about close to 60, right? This place was like standing room only. They had to keep bringing chairs in, and amazing local businesses. He shared how to be able to partner with us, but not just us here at the school district, but also kind of other public agencies around, whether it's cities or other school districts. But it was well attended, tons of amazing questions, and then such a diverse group of businesses that showed up to hear and see innovative ways that they can also partner with us as well too. So yeah, over 60, and they just kept flowing in, and he did an amazing job of hosting and answering questions, and was really honest and transparent. No gimmicks at this workshop that he hosted. So it was really well. Scott was also in attendance as well to answer some questions and talk to some of those vendors that I'm sure he might need to reach out to. But yeah, and about 95% of those folks either have the business here and or have students in our school district, which was, again, pretty amazing to kind of see. That was, I guess, the eye-opening for me. Just a lot of the connections. Talk to you after, Anthony. There was one that I remember that I was supposed to connect to, but you're right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Great. No, thank you, everybody. This will be my last full meeting as the board president. I'm looking forward to the reorganization and passing the gavel to you at the beginning of the next meeting. It's been an honor. At the last organizational meeting, I started emailing myself. This is how I keep track of things. Emailing myself ideas of things that I wanted to talk about with Dr. Pletka, like a vision, some goals, very broad goals for what I was hoping to maybe accomplish. As many of you know, because I mention it every single time, K through 8, FSD, this district made me. More than my law school, more than UCLA even, probably just about as much as high school, because that's where I was a teenager and I really thought about what I wanted to be and do in the world. But my first, thoughts and shaping my brain happened here in the Fullerton School District. So out of 7 things that I emailed myself that I was hoping that we might be able to do over the coming year, we got 6 out of 7 actually. I'm really very proud of that. That's a pretty good number. And one of them is just things that are meaningful, to my heart and to I think a lot of people in the community. A memorial for Dr. Pat Backus, the longtime principal at Orangethorpe Elementary, who passed away last year. Just updating our policy for naming parks or land or buildings in our district. A nighttime basketball tournament that would show some love to our community and to our parks, things like that. Also, recognizing Dr. Pletka's service along with our cabinet and getting a longevity component to his compensation. I mean, these were things that were really important. One of them was also planning or discussing how the district could maybe participate with programming at the Hunt Library. And so that was just pretty amazing to see that was coming up. There were 2 competing ideas, so it wasn't like tea leaves, but there were 2 competing ideas, and one was, could the city manage some programming? And the other one was, let somebody else come in and do whatever programming they wanted to do. And I'm so glad that we're back at keeping this as a city gem. It's been 5 years on the board. It's an honor to be in this role, and I really wanted to thank each and every one of my colleagues for allowing me to do this. It's such a joy to see what every single employee of this district brings for our children. And as a product of that, and as a parent, and as an observer from here, it's we've had our ups, we have our downs, but everything that makes this district amazing when we're doing great, it's what actually helps us, in my opinion, come through when we have problems. So I often say that FSD is the heart and soul of our city, and after this year, I believe that to be true more than ever. And I was thinking, as a child of the 80s, our board is like if Voltron met the Care Bears. And so tonight, I just want to toast our board and suggest maybe at CSBA that we start calling ourselves the Vol Bears or Caretron. But we don't have to decide that tonight. From the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Yes.
We are going to honor you at the next final board meeting.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public I'm sorry. Information from our associations and our partners, please. There's 5 parts. They're lions. They come together, and so kind of, but not really. But see, there's a head, and then there's 2 arms and 2 legs, and that's kind of like our board. But we rotate.
I got the Care Bear part.
We'll send you.
I'll let you know if I'm on board or not.
That's very wholesome, I promise. So it's good versus evil. Oh, happy belated Diwali to everybody also. DLAC, do we have a report from DLAC tonight, Anna?
Yes, President Thakor, I'll be reading on behalf of DLAC.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Thakor, school board members, Superintendent Dr. Pletka, Executive Cabinet, and all families present and listening. As a DLAC committee, we are appreciative of the entire district for honoring the heritage of the Latino Hispanic community through the celebration of Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead. We thank all of our administrators for incorporating diverse perspectives and traditions in their schools. The Champions for Learning Block Party was a fantastic event that offered many community resources. The parents were so impressed with the great learning opportunities offered by our school district. Many parents, students, and community members offered their suggestions for our LCAP by filling out an input card. Thank you to Ruth Gare and Alma Mata for acknowledging the need to develop the capacity of our DLAC parents. We invite you to our next DLAC meeting scheduled December 8th, 2023 at 9 a.m. at Golden Hill. Sincerely, Vanessa Estrella, DLAC President.
Thank you so much. Do we have a report from PTA this evening?
I'll be reading on behalf of PTA as well.
Thank you.
PTSA is working on updating all the units' bylaws, and the Reflections art pieces have been submitted and selected. Council Reflection art shows to be determined. The PTSA next meeting is Thursday, November 28th at the High School District Office. Cindy Rivera.
Sorry, CSEA, please.
Good evening, President Decor, Board of Trustees, Dr. Pleka, Cabinet and Community. I am Tatiana Ortega, CSCA Vice President. We continue to hold our department monthly PALs to continue the amazing work relationships between management and classified staff across our district. One department I would love to highlight is nutrition services. The prompt work has already helped boosted our members' spirits and trust within the next steps. Thank you to Dr. Coughlin, Michael Burns, and staff for your support through this process that we continue with you. CSCA would like to say how proud we are of all of the support from our members who are supporting our kiddos with behavior needs. We know at times this may not be an easy task, but you show up and do the best you can every day. Our chapter met this month to also begin planning our annual CSCA holiday social and discussions in our annual Adopt a Family for the holidays, where we add some holiday cheer to a few families in need from our own FSD community. As always, we thank you for your continued support of our classified staff and members. Thank you.
Before you go, what is the date?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Are you collecting toys this year?
We're not collecting toys. What we do is we ask amongst our members and our executive board of families that are actually at our school sites. And we do find about 2 families on average a year, and we actually buy them their needs and wants for that family. And then as an e-board, we go shopping, and then we wrap them and we deliver it to those families directly. Just something that they don't always get to see, and just the joy of having them get something they may not get. We have kids that may get 1 gift a year, but then this year we're giving them like 10, 12 packages to open, and just the joy of seeing their faces is what we like to share with our members.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. FETA, please.
Good evening, President Berryman. Oh, President Berryman. Is that next? No, I'm teasing. President Thakor, board members, Dr. Pleka, cabinet, teachers, and guests. As president of FETA, I am grateful to have the gift of time to talk with our members. I also have the time to visit school sites and see our teachers, nurses, counselors, administrators, and classified staff in action. These heroes work with and know the needs, successes, challenges, celebrations, and dreams of the students that they come in contact with every day. FETA is grateful for our board members, cabinet, and district office staff who are willing to talk, listen, and collaborate with us to support the needs of our students so that they can focus on their learning. At times, these conversations have to go deeper and longer than we plan, but in the end, we all have the best intentions. We all want our students to succeed in a safe and caring environment. On behalf of FETA, I would like to wish all of our FSD staff a great, relaxing Thanksgiving break. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Fesma?
President Gore, Board, Dr. Pleka, Cabinet. My name is Mike McAdam, President of FSD and also Director of Purchasing and Contracts. Classified and certificated management have been visiting schools to check in at school sites to offer support, resolve any issues, offer any help or support for both classified and certificated staff. Honestly, I did go there a couple times at Ladera Vista helping with lunch lines. It was kind of fun, and helped Mr. Lynch out, which was awesome on that. Went to Rolling Hills as well, and got to play with the kids, but also as a support on that, as some of my other colleagues have. We are all excited for Thanksgiving break, a time to reflect, recharge, enjoy family, friends, and be thankful for so many things. We would like to express our gratitude to all departments for the effort on organizing the Champions for Children block party that took place Saturday, November 4th. It was a remarkable event that brought families together and received many positive feedbacks from both the attendees, community, and also staff as well. There are more than, like Dr. Hammett said, under 12,000 families, somewhere in there, people participating in the event, and it wouldn't have been possible without the collective efforts of all departments. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We do have one public comment. It is on discussion item or action item section 8B. Ms. Yingling, would you prefer to speak now, or maybe when we get to that item?
This time, I promise.
Sure. Why don't you please come to the podium?
Timing.
All right.
Okay. Thanks. I am Karen Yingling. I'm a parent. And I want to just, I'm sure that this happens, but one of the struggles that parents have in involvement is if we have kids in both the K through 8 system and the 9th through 12th system. And tonight, just up the street, the board up there is also voting on their calendar for next year's meetings. And we are here too. And it makes it challenging as we want to get parents more involved in this process at a local level with local elections, because we know how important those are becoming. And we want to encourage parent involvement. We feel a little torn. So next year, I think there are 3 dates, and especially the June dates. There's an overlap in the June dates, there's an overlap in the March dates, and then the summer dates. So again, it's balancing a lot, but it would be, the more we can coordinate those calendars across the board. I know we do it with the attendance dates, but if we could do it with the board meetings too, it would just, as we try to get parents to participate, it would make it a little bit easier to not have to choose where we go. So that's all. Thank you.
Might hold you to coming to every one of them. I'm going to spend my Tuesday nights.
Thank you very much for the comment. Do I have a motion to approve the October 17th minutes?
I will motion.
I'll second.
All right, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, the motion carries 5-0. Thank you. We already did move around the agenda. I apologize for not doing a better job with that. A motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda with the amendments.
And seconded by?
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, the motion carries 5-0. Thank you very much. We have a revision on item B. We've been provided with this. It's an addendum to consent item number 7B, I believe. Any items that on the consent agenda that any trustee would like to pull or discuss?
Yes. What a surprise.
Of course.
I want to give attention to what's posted up there. There are the donations from our various school organizations, community partners, and I want to express a heartfelt thank you to every one of them. As you can see, the PTA really, really works hard to provide extras for our schools and our students. I want to thank all the parents and people like Anna M., who donate to our schools. to help support specific programs that relate to their family lives. It makes such a difference, and we really appreciate it. We have almost $85,000 this month in support for our schools, and I think that's so commendable. I do have 3 other things I'd like to mention, if that's okay.
Please do.
1F is the tuition reimbursement program we have for our classified employees. It isn't a large amount of money this time, but Carlita Chan got reimbursed for a course she took. I believe it's on Excel or something like that, and good for her to improving her abilities. And again, we want to thank all of our classified employees who take classes to enrich their lives and the lives of the people they work with, and it's an honor to reimburse them when we can. On 1X, 1X is, I have board information demonstration. 1CC, Maple, I love you. Going for the grant, working so hard. If you get this grant and allow all of your students to do all of those amazing overnight field trips.
They are overnight.
What enrichment for their lives. What enrichment. Thank you so much for going after that, and I hope that it will be a reality for all of your 4th, 5th, and 6th graders. It's just wonderful. And what you're doing with environmental science is great. We all appreciate it. I was traveling to other places for the last few weeks, and it was so interesting to see how some places you don't think of it, the country of Morocco, the things they have in place for environment are stronger and deeper than we have in our own country. And every place is really focused on these items. So good for you for putting them into the minds of your students at an early age. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion items?
Yeah, I want to add that in reading the proposal and being able to vote yes for this resolution is amazing. I think that the time and effort that you spent into this in reading it is remarkable, and it just makes us proud to be able to say, yes, we support this, and keep our fingers crossed that you're going to be able to do this for your children at your school. And it's amazing, so thank you. I also wanted to just point out AA providing parent education presentations for our GATE folks. I think that, we spend a lot of time and effort looking at all of our kids, and to really be able to provide resources for our GATE children and their parents as well is commendable. So I did want to bring that one out as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other highlights from the consent agenda? If not, do we have a motion to approve with the revisions in the attachment for consent item B?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Great, moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great, the motion carries 5-0. Thank you. We are going to be talking about some 2024 board meeting dates. We've been provided with the list.
I wanted to ask a question. I'm sure that it isn't mandatory we pass this evening, and I thought that the public comment was very significant, and perhaps we can adjust some of those dates because we're only having one meeting in the month, and maybe we can move our date so that the March and June dates do not conflict with the high school, and be more considerate for our public.
We have there's a couple things that we are under obligation to do by certain timelines. Most months we have a lot of flexibility. I know in particular the fiscal one. Rob, you want to share a little bit about that one?
Oh, in June, right.
Right, so we have 3 months that have fiscal requirements. That's March, June, and December. And so in March of next year, we do our second interim report, which has to be presented and approved on or before March 15th of the month. And that's in every district. That's per ed code. In June, our budget has to be presented and then adopted at another meeting in June prior to June 30th. So we need to have 2 meetings in June. And then the one that's perfect storm is in December, because it's an election year. There's 3 ed codes that are kind of converging on each other. The first one is in December, first interim gets approved on or before December 15th. So that has to happen on or before December 15th. When December 15th falls on a Sunday, you can do it on a Monday. Then we have Ed Code 5017, which is the term for newly elected school board members, because it is an election year. And that has to commence on the second Friday, so no earlier than the second Friday of December. In December, the second Friday is the 13th. So when you have those 2, that means your 2 board dates are Friday the 13th or Monday the 16th to be in compliance with those.
This is Tuesday, the 17th.
Correct. And so, again, the board is not approving these tonight. We're just putting these out there for review. And so the recommendation is that it would be on, to be in compliance on both would need to be Monday, December 16th.
So yeah, so those are the 3. After that, you're the board. Feel free to make those changes.
Yeah.
It would be Monday, December 16th.
Could we, like...
But I will say this, that all other school districts are probably going to be falling on that date because they are under the same ed code requirements.
Yeah, I was going to ask.
On the date in March, March 12th, that sounds like we can't go any further out, and February 20th is a meeting. What if we moved February up a week, and then we could move March up a week? Would that be okay for us?
So one of the things, they have these the interim report for second interim is due in March, and it is for the time period of July 1st to the end of January 31st.
Right.
That gives staff the shortest month with the most holidays, February, to put this report together, and we need all of those days.
Well,
So-
I'm not saying to change. Oh, I see what you're saying.
So to move it up.
To March
Right.
up.
Same thing happens for first interim. When it's moved up sooner, it's from the start of the school year to October 31st, and then November is a pretty short month. So it's a tight window for staff.
I
to get
retract
those
every
reports.
statement I've made, and I thank you so much for bringing this to our attention so that we can better understand why we have the conflicts and why we're trapped. Thank
And
you
we're
very
not
much.
approving this tonight anyway.
Right,
This is just a
but
first
we
read, right?
probably aren't going to change it either.
Well,
Oh, till the December.
It's Monday, December 16th. Are we going to move from a Tuesday to a Monday night?
Correct. So I believe what had happened was we put this out, but this week since then we had a discussion in cabinet. And
There's
again, since you're not
basically
voting
just
on
2
it-
days. So we can either
Sure.
do it Friday, the 13th, or Monday. So
The 6th, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we could break the law, but we would go.
I prefer not to.
Yes, let's
Whoa,
pick
whoa,
one
whoa.
of the 2.
Yeah.
Not a good example for our children.
Yeah.
I had a couple dates that I just wanted to, I mean, I have a conflict with something here. So our June meeting, the 18th, we have to, because we have to do both our LCAP and our budget in June. Is the 25th too late? I know we have to do it before the end of the month.
So one of the reasons why we've actually moved it up sooner is because staff has a kind of a limited time of when we take our vacations, and so we've moved it up. Otherwise, staff doesn't go until July, and then with school starting back, when it doesn't give
Not
staff
my
much
fault.
time to be off. Not your fault.
If it was up to Hilda, we'd start in September, so. Okay.
Do you have a conflict with that?
I do, but that's okay. I can zoom in again if I need to.
I will say
I
that.
can't do the 18th, but I can't do the June 18th.
I will say this: I'm not really excited about a December 16th, 2024
Me either.
meeting, because that will be my first 1-year anniversary, and so. But I will be here on the 16th, presenting the first
We'll have a
interim
cake.
report.
Cheers to you.
Maybe we should start at 4 in the afternoon so we're done.
Oh, we could probably adjust the time.
Yeah, and then you.
We'll be
can
fine.
have
We
the evening.
It's a Monday. We can do whatever we want, right?
So
Well, but it's an
there's never a
LCAP
good
budget.
date. There's never
Yeah,
good
for
days.
that month, we really are recommending the
Yes.
Monday.
Yeah.
And then, was it July that also conflicts with the high school?
The 23rd.
The July 23rd?
We don't have anything that we have to do on that day, right?
We don't have any, there's no requirements for July. My birthday is July 27th. I will throw that in there.
So if we did it a week before the 23rd, could we do the week before the 23rd? Or
I
is
think
that
the challenge is staff vacation time, right?
Yeah, too many vacations, people are gone.
Yeah, basically, that's the time you want us to be gone.
We want you to take vacation.
Yeah,
'cause we want
for
you
that,
back.
for that. Now,
Want you back.
technically, if you wanted to go 1 week later,
The
let me look at
30th,
real
is
quick.
that's still 2 weeks before school starts?
Yeah. So that's possible.
I mean, for me, it doesn't matter, but.
I don't have a problem with that. No, but we should make sure that the high school district's not making this change too. Right.
True, they could be having the same conversation tonight. Okay, so we're open to July 23rd or July 30th if it means staggering with the high school? Does that work for everybody?
Yep.
We can look and definitely make
Okay.
sure they didn't
The
change
30th.
and we can do
July
it.
30.
Yes.
We could start school in September.
I say we just do it. Just find it,
Will
do it.
we get an email maybe with some new dates or if there's any revisions?
Yeah, so we'll first double check on what the high school did approve, make sure, and then we'll stick with the ones we need to do, and then the one in July, I think we can change. That seems easy enough.
And there's a chance that the high school, typically we approve these in December. That's, the organizational meeting gets approved in December, so there's a chance that the high school hasn't even done this yet. But we'll look into it.
All right, great. Any other
Thank you for bringing
issues?
this to us early. Thank you, Marie.
Well, we are at the part of the meeting where we request future items. And remember how I was saying that I looked at my email and I was trying to remember? Well, it's actually 5 out of 7 if I don't do this. So I would like for us to discuss as a board at some point the idea of term limits, why they might be good, why they might be bad, and just talk about it. So that would be on some future agenda where it's appropriate. I think we're going over some of our bylaws, we're going over some of our internal documents. So, any other requests? Yes.
During my time here on the board, there was a time when the entire board had a lesson in phonemic awareness so that we understood the importance and how it went and how it worked. It was actually a state requirement of us. And then later on, when we started doing Writer's Workshop, one of our schools opened its doors and had invited the board to come for the morning and go from kindergarten through 3rd grade and experience how Writer's Workshop was taught so we could understand this method of teaching and be more in tune with what goes on in our schools. Well, tonight we approved literacy training, and it seems to me that maybe it's time that we have a lesson on literacy training and how we're doing this to better help our students, read by 3rd grade, be more proficient in literacy. And that goes right along with what you were saying earlier this evening about wanting Hunt Library to offer the things that in ancient times, like 20 years ago, were offered in all libraries. And so that was just an idea of what maybe we could do as a board.
I second that.
And
Thank
so
you.
that's, there are like,
Want to visit or you want a presentation?
Whichever way you do, maybe a visit to actually see it, or
I thought you
what-
wanted us to do the program.
Oh, you
Like, so that we could be more
Every
literate.
Monday.
than
Oh,
we are.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah, we could schedule some visits.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I had something as well.
Yes, please.
I think that there's been some concerns lately or been brought up about our bulletin board communication, how we communicate and send flyers out to our district. In the past, I remember when we used to bring flyers, you'd have to photocopy all the flyers, you'd have to drop them off at the district office, and then we went to Peach Jar, where we're now, putting everything online and using that third-party service. I think there's been some concerns with that, and so what I wanted to do is bring to the board a conversation of did we really want to continue to provide a bulletin service, a bulletin board service to our parents? And if we do, what does that look like? And should we take a look at the policies and procedures in which we operate? Because I know that there are some logistic laws that we have to follow, and so I think there's a little technicalities there as well. But as a group, talk about, is this a service that we want to continue to do? And if so, how do we move forward?
Great. I'll second that. So, sounds great. Any other items for future agendas?
Yeah, it's a popular discussion, but I wanted to learn more about our preschool program. When we had the consent item this month, we were looking at our state-funded preschools, which are low cost or no cost to our community. It made me more curious to learn more just about our entire kind of big picture of how we do preschool at FSD. I know that we have our state-funded programs that are at Commonwealth, Hermosa Drive, Maple, Orange Thorpe, Pacific Drive, and Woodcrest. And we have full year programs at Richmond and Valencia Park. We also have tuition-based programs at Beechwood and Sunset. And all of these are working to both prepare our kids to then transition into FSD, to provide affordable, reliable, safe childcare for families. So I would like to learn more about these programs, and I think it's a service that we can share with our community. I don't know that it gets a lot of attention, and so I'd like to, by us having the conversation, also to give that attention to these services that we provide to the community. I had a chance, as these things happen, I was thinking about that and then ran into our Daniela, who runs the program with Dr. Helene Morris, and we talked about how I said I'm curious, I'd love to learn more, and she said she'd be delighted to have the opportunity to share. So I think it would be great to have a board presentation. It's an opportunity for us to learn more. I'm specifically really interested in how these programs can both help us identify and provide services for kids that may need them for interventions, but then also prepare kids for kindergarten. And I think that we know we've got declining enrollment. We want to look at our preschools really helping to increase families that really have a connection to FSD and then are more likely to go through our schools, kindergarten through 8th grade, and also the questions of whether the kids that are in these programs are better prepared to be more successful in kindergarten or TK once they join our regular school, the traditional schools of the elementaries.
That'd be a great time to add TK in there too, and TK further along with them.
Yeah, I think they are different programming and different funding streams, but maybe that conversation about transition. And I know when I talked to Daniela, she was saying how as we're decreasing the age that TK can enter, right? More 4-year-olds are entering TK. That means less 4-year-olds in preschool, but then there's opportunity space for more 3-year-olds. And how do we increase marketing to let families know that this resource is available and that it's a great place to send their preschoolers?
I would second both of those. I think they are a little bit different, though. So how would you like to provide that information?
We'll probably do it just the same evening and just have 2 different presentations.
Mm-hmm.
Just a couple, we appreciate the opportunity to present these. Just to give some context, December, it's a pretty, there's a lot of just formalities that we need to do. Mm-hmm. We also try to, with the new president, help that person move forward. So December, you'll see more routine items, but important items as we bring those forward. Even the corporation, if you remember that fund that we do. And so you'll see that January and February, we're doing a lot around student achievement and student achievement reports. Those were asked by the board. And we've actually added in a secondary presentation on student achievement. We're doing our benchmark, so we have dashboard and benchmark, so those are the ones coming up. We will make sure that we get these in. We probably will space them out a little bit, January, February, March, maybe even, I think I heard almost 5 presentations, so we'll try to pepper them through the evening. So we'll get to all of them, and we'll kind of space it out. We'll also have, I think, Anna, we have our little calendar that we do, the board calendar. So what we'll do is look at that calendar and update that calendar to include kind of what the ones that I heard tonight.
That's great.
When they would,
Yeah.
be positioned.
Yeah, that's really helpful because I think knowing it's coming, we can wait 3 or 4 months if it's not time to, a deadline. Right. But just knowing it's on the agenda and we're getting there is really helpful.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep December light, short and sweet. Any other board member requests?
So not a request, but I just wanted to follow up, make sure that we can get a tour scheduled of the hunt. Yeah. For us?
I don't think so.
Yeah, they might be.
They had one. I think they've moved the date a couple times. And those of you familiar with construction, it is always longer than what everybody says. So I think we had one originally planned in October. Right now it's planned in April. But again, it may change again. So, but we could schedule, I think, the tour much sooner than that. Yeah. And so it sounds like we could do that pretty soon. So I will. Potentially. So what we could do is just go ahead and we'll coordinate with Daisy, and then the fun challenge of Anna trying to find calendar dates in common for all of you. A possibility, though, if we don't have a closed session, that might be a nice one to do, and we'll see if that works for Daisy and her staff.
One other thing to announce, I totally forgot. Tomorrow from 8:30 to 10, Nicholas is having its big construction day. And if anyone's available and would like to see the tiny house, the skeleton is there. But tomorrow they're going to be really doing a ton of work, and you will see a huge difference. And so that's the tiny house from 8:30 to 10, I believe, tomorrow. And they'll have like 3 more of those in the course until they get up to May when it's complete. Thank you.
We have some of our construction partners that are helping to support our kids on that. And a little shout out to Mike McAdams. Mike McAdams really built a partnership with local businesses, and because of those partnerships, they do things like this, volunteer their time to work with our kids.
That's great. We also have Orange Thorpe's International Day tomorrow at 11, I think.
Richmond is having something on Thursday.
Yes, and Raymond has.
Well, on that note, we will see everybody at the December 12th meeting, our organizational meeting. We are adjourned at 7:43.